Speaking, just give me a second. I believe it's dangerous, and I believe that may I speak?
Please remain respectful.
I believe that the engineer's recommendation is fair, and I believe that the S-turn is dangerous, and I believe that widening Forest Road by 12 feet will make it more accessible to move in and out for trucks and that sort of thing to move. I believe that it is dangerous, and if it came to a vote again tomorrow, I would vote the same way. And I'm sorry that you're angry over it, but I would much rather make a decision for the safety of the children that are coming along than but I've lost control of my own vehicle, I don't know how many times on that turn. That's it.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to speak, or?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hi folks, I reiterate, I was sitting at the council table with Tara. We've tried really hard, contrary to belief, to depoliticize road work. It's not something that should be decided on which neighborhood you need the more votes in. Through that process and through the depoliticization of road work, we've put trust into our experts. There's been opportunities after the last 4 years to change road work during paving programs. Myself and the majority of council had said, no, we're not going to politicize this process. In doing that, we've taken a bit of a hard line, and I understand that. The idea that the bylaw, that is something that absolutely shouldn't have been done that way. Going forward, I hope that we never go down this road again, where we're passing bylaws after roads are bulldozed. I hear that. I do have echo of what the mayor has been talking about in communication. We do need to do a better job of engaging these neighborhoods, helping to organize voices and concerns, and being able to go back and forth as projects go on. I think that we do need to take a neighborhood approach to this type of planning. It was mentioned in the zoning and planning commission. When we go through that process, we're often asked, what are the neighborhood impacts? That question doesn't get asked when we're doing major infrastructure like this all the time. This is a prime example. We do need to get better at that. So I think you have a 100% commitment to be better listeners through this table, and I think ultimately that will pass down to management, that will pass down to the directors, and funding and investments are going to be made to be better listeners. So there is an issue of patience, but I do stand with Councillor Ross on saying, if this decision came up again, I would say, I would take the recommendation from our engineers, and I would say, that makes sense. I respect your science, your data, your education, and from a rational, I can understand why a Y intersection is more dangerous than a T intersection. I get that. So in saying that, I voted in favor of it last time, I vote in favor of it again, but we've learned a truckload of things that we need to correct, and again, it's not lost on any of us.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Plessy. I'm going to make a statement, and I know it's probably not proper protocol. As the chair, I just want to say that you indicated that hopefully in the future, the bylaw will not come after the work. That's incumbent on you as a councillor to change that, and maybe that's a learning lesson here tonight. Yes, sir.
What about the mailbox at the top of Forest Road? All that extra traffic is going to be on there now. How safe is it going to be to stop to get your mail? What's going to be done to address that?
I don't want it on Forest Street either.
They live at the top of it.
The post office is put there by Canada Post. We will review that issue with them.
So, just please allow Mr. Brown to answer the question.
Sorry, I just stated we're going to review with Canada Post. I would say that's a pretty fair answer. They're put there by Canada Post. But we will review that with you. We've heard some concerns with it. But yeah, we'll monitor it and review with them in the near future.
Can you book that Canada Post before you go into the message?
We work with them all the time.
Well, what did they say? You should ask them in the beginning.
Well, you're talking about traffic, I guess, there's...
Did you ever go on that street?
Yes, I've done it many times, yes.
You gotta know it's speed.
Please.
Canada Post, we will review that. You know, our feeling is the traffic volumes in Loggieville and on Wellington Street and on Water Street are not that high compared to other areas of the city and other areas of the province. I know you guys live here, you feel they're high, but the traffic volumes are low in this area.
Yeah.
So really, no facts. We go by facts, and the traffic volumes are down. They're low.
Ma'am,
That's actually my question.
you're gonna have to speak up because we
Yes,
can't
it's
hear you.
actually my question. That's a very low activity road, say compared to King George Highway and First Road. Why wasn't that looked at fixing before this? Then you could have had the time to let us know what you were doing.
So King George Highway has been looked at for the last number of years. We designed in partnership with the province 3 or 4 years ago, that section of roadway. You know, some of these areas that can't be fixed due to property issues, due to water and sewer. So we are looking at that, trying to get that project done in the next little while here. And we haven't finalized what that intersection is going to look like. But certainly, yeah, in fairness, there's other roads that have higher volumes, but that road is in bad condition, and we identified it was, you know, time to fix it up, and that's what we're doing.
Tina, just a moment, please. Tina?
You said it was a safety issue. The speed limit is 70 up to there. Did you ever think of decreasing it maybe to 60 or 50?
The topic has been brought up over the last few years, but those issues are you know, the only thing I can say is those issues brought forward by the police, and you know, we consult with other departments on that, and that just hasn't been to the forefront. But you know, we've heard that the last month about that as well too. So certainly something we can consider. It is a designated highway, and we're with the province as well. So not to shift the responsibility over. Some of the responsibility has just recently changed. Still working through with them on those responsibilities for that road.
Yeah, but you moved the stop sign down the road. It's close to the concern now.
Yeah, we have reviewed it with not just myself, but other professionals, and we do feel that this is going to be a big safety improvement. So.
Yeah, but you're gonna act too before you can. Now you close the road, and everybody got stopped. The speed limit is still the same.
Please stand and speak loudly so everybody can hear your question.
On the shore road, whatever you call it, why? Would it have been cheaper to put a 90-degree turn at the ends of those and remove 4th Street? Would that have been more practical? I know.
No, it's certainly that would involve some property acquisition. Still wouldn't be ideal because if you get a little bit of time, it'd be a significant change. This is a way more simpler and more cost effective.
What is the cost of this?
What's cost, Dan?
What is the cost of this?
The cost of this area to fix 4th Street and remove the roadway is $100,000.
Oh, wait,
Please. So that information should be available, and that's part of why we didn't look at it.
The Water Street portion is, the overlay portion is $200,000, but each project was considered individually.
So
And it's $100,000.
I guess,
It's public information.
please, yes, it is public information, but it's not readily available, and I think that's part of the problem. So what you're saying is, and I think the question is, what is the overall, not just piecemeal, what is the overall cost of the project?
So we are given $2 million by council at budget time.
Wait, Matt,
Sorry. So that area, like I said, Water Street was considered an individual project. It was $200,000 overlay. 4th Street and the movement of the by road was $100,000. So in total, it's $300,000 in that area on two different items.
Okay.
is that finished?
No, just a minute, there's a lady that's been very patient in the back who'd like to ask a question.
I've got a twofold question, and why is it? Why were the people not notified prior to the election? Because I can guarantee the election results would have been different. And why did one of your counselors tell someone that moved in here in Loggieville in January about this, but the people that have been here for years was not notified? Why?
I'm not sure.
Ask your counselors. I don't know over here.
I-
They will admit to it.
So They would like you to repeat the questions, please.
Why did one of your counselors tell someone that moved here in January about this new road coming in, but yet the rest of the people in Loggieville were not notified? So he tells certain people, but the rest of them aren't reporting on. Is that it?
That's right.
They would like to know who you're referring to. Do you know who the counselor is?
Yes, I do, but I want them to have the jam stand up and say themselves who it was. Obviously, they're not doing it.
Well, tell us.
Okay, so, Mr. Smith, you have another question?
It's not a question, it's a statement. My research tell me that actually this project is 900,000, so I can approve it, but that's beside the point. But I have extreme reservation when I talk about policy making and direction from the council. The people that walk and travel with bicycles and everything else, I'm a Wellington Street from Forest Water to Curb was well built with a ditch to ditch paving. I'm asking this council, don't put it on the last one or the previous one. Change the rule there that Mr. Darrell can work, that this is be paved ditch to ditch, not shoulder to shoulder, so people don't walk in the gravel, because that's what they say here. It will be gravel on the side. If somebody come too wide or something like this, so it should be ditch to ditch. Be much better in winter time for the snow removal.
Yes, thank you very much. So I'm going to allow Adam to respond.
A couple of things. First of all, we've come here tonight to answer questions and be honest with you. Where we feel that we haven't done things right and where we feel like we have done things right. And obviously we don't agree on all of those things, but nobody up here is lying to you. So to suggest that it's a $900,000 project is not true. It's $900,000 was the budget to do every street resurfacing on this side of the river, up and down. Like, to suggest that we would come here tonight and lie to your face, I don't think is fair at all. Secondly, if you look and pay attention to what we're doing as a council, we have been advocating for years for more walkability and more biking in the community. We're about to get back a 15-year plan for trails and bike paths all around the roads. And we literally just last week, doubled there in the amount of crosswalks in the community because we're hearing we want more walkability. We are making improvements on these areas. And then finally, Mr. Smith, and I have so much respect for you, but what I'm hearing you say is you shouldn't take the advice of the engineer.
Absolutely not.
So how would you suggest that we make a decision on streets if we're not taking the advice of the expert? We're not politicizing it, and that's what Chad said. We aren't doing, whoever's going to get the most votes. We're taking the recommendation of the engineer.
That's not what I said. I said you should have policies. In this case, what I'm saying to you, and I will repeat it, is this paving to the gravel, okay? And you should pave shoulder to shoulder or to the gravel, to the ditch, okay? Like they did Wellington Street, I traveled there at night time, people on the side of the road, it's dangerous as it is now. But in this corner here, it should definitively be done as well. So it's just a simple fix to this problem, let everybody go.
You know what? That's a good point. And as far as ditch to ditch and a guardrail, these are good points that are being brought back tonight. And I know I will, and I'm sure my colleagues will say, let's have a look at those things. And as for the speed limit review, I just want to make it clear. Literally, I think last week at a standing committee meeting, council has asked staff to do a report on the speed limits and the turnings into not just here, but all the way down on Wellington Street. So we're already looking at that, and we're looking forward to the recommendations on how to make sure that Wellington Street is safe from Chatham all the way down to Napan.
Thank you. Mark,
This is for Chad, basically.
speak up.
With you sitting here, you say you take from the experts, Your experts don't even know the speed limit. How could he be referred to as an expert? He's never been down south. He's probably the third time in Loggieville. Why don't you ask these people in the crowd who reversed the decision? Is there anyone in here who would reverse it? I'm sure everybody would. You guys made a bad call. Why don't you take that to a vote? Ask everyone in here if they reverse the decision. They live here. Is it safety or not safety? No one had trouble there.
Hasn't even been an accident.
No accidents. No accidents. Now, a short road. What's going to happen, Chad, with all this traffic from Loggieville down the front road? I lived down the front road Monday night, 10 after 8. There's 15 people walking the short road between the Force Corner and Middle Island. What's up this traffic that's going to be, not take that turn, takes all up Forest Street on the well to go to Chow. These people walk on both sides of the road. You guys never put a sidewalk in. What are you going to do for the short road with people on the short road?
And the grass is right up to the road.
So
And
let's,
I wish Jay could jump up and ask these people, would you vote for to reverse your decision? Do it, we asked you.
Yeah, I did.
Let's see if we can.
Yeah, no, like me personally, like what I said previously is I tried to stay very consistent in road work. Every year we have a budget process that comes up for the paving project. The decision that the previous council made was to double the budget. That was a decision because we heard, kind of in generalities that, our roads were in bad shape. We needed additional infrastructure. So we took that from $1 million to $2 million in the previous council. Now, to isolate this one kind of situation, understanding that there's differing opinions, you guys have much more kind of lived experience in driving that road. There's 100% no doubt that probably anyone wants to maybe us up here. But to kind of use that to discredit the expertise
You
of
didn't
the
know the
people that
speed
we...
limit. You didn't know the speed limit.
Yeah,
If you have a 5-year plan, you would have no problems.
Ask the people, Chad, when you reverse it. You want their vote. Let's see who votes for you.
yeah, I don't think it's realistic that we go into a plebiscite mode every time there's a road work. I understand that. I think through this process, there's no one here.
There will be a vote.
Yeah, there's no one here that's not listening right now. There will be follow-up conversations, there will be additional information. Kind of, the intention is to get this right. But understanding that, I don't know, I wouldn't be in support of revisiting this road work, pulling this contract, repaving the road, and putting it back to kind of status quo. It wouldn't be that. I think that's the opinion. I don't think it would be a good decision.
Stop the nail before you pick up the other one. Ask the question, Chad. Ask your decision.
Yeah, no, people feel free to kind of raise your hand or do what you will if you would prefer us. But I don't think it's realistic for us to go into plebiscite mode and do the referendums
No, but
every
in
time.
4 years' time, I don't think you can ever vote there.
so, yes, ask your question. Please stand and speak clearly so everybody can hear.
My name's Shirley. I live down in this area, travel. Travel is 48 times a day. As I'm looking at it, the original design 50 years ago was that link from Wellington onto Water to be a smooth transition, and it works very well. Okay? It's very safe. What I'm seeing here now are abrupt stops on Forest Road, downhill, towards the river, into another stop sign. In the winter time, I'm really concerned because it's much more unsafe. My question is, if you would review the safety of this decision in that light, can we get a change?
Thank you for your question.
Thanks,
And I guess we'll ask you, Mr. Kraus.
We certainly considered the winter conditions, and one thing I can add is Wellington Street is a primary road that
Highway.
highway road. It's a primary road in the city, designated highway, and then the Public Works maintains it with salt, and it's clear. And then traffic in the by road and the Water Street is not. It is sand is only applied. And as everybody knows, the side streets, which is sand, they do become slippery. And we feel, and internal review is, people that are coming off Wellington Street at a high rate of speed going on that road that is only sand, there's certainly a concern with that. So we certainly looked at the winter conditions, and we do take into consideration the winter conditions, and we looked at it, and that's what we come up with.
Thank you. Yes. Please stand and remove your mask and ask your question. Can't hear you.
I said I have a lot of respect for his background. My question is also in relation to all the communication issues that are happening. Not everybody has internet. Not everybody has Facebook. Okay? Not everybody has Rogers or access to Rogers cable or anything like that. You can't get Wi-Fi out here. You can get Wi-Fi, but you can't get fiber optic, even though we're part of your machine. So, if you have low-speed internet, how are you going to stream council meetings? Stalls every 5 minutes.
I think it's a really fair question, and it's not related to this, but I can tell you.
It is, because it's related to your communication.
Right, yes, and so if I may speak on the issue of high-speed internet, I can tell you that we, again, have worked really hard on that file. We've heard from people in Loggieville, in Nelson, in Lower Newcastle, all parts of the city of Miramichi who do not have access to high-speed internet right now. I can tell you, as one of New Brunswick's representatives on the National Federation of Canadian Municipalities, access to high-speed internet in rural areas is literally one of our top priorities. We advocate all the time to the federal government for that to happen and to work with Bell and Rogers. So
you know it exists.
Yes.
But this is an issue.
Absolutely.
So why are you not addressing items in a manner that people who don't have access to can get the information they need?
Right.
Send written notifications, put posters up.
So it's already, as it's been said tonight, all of these notifications are already in the newspaper and they're on the website. And we're going to add
They don't deliver. They want you to go online and get a subscription.
Well, again, actually, literally last week at a public hearing, we had a problem up with a consultation in the French Fork Home area, where notifications were to be given to the surrounding neighbors about a potential project there, and we found out that they weren't given out in an adequate manner. So we've already spoken to our staff about the circulation of hand notifications. So look, I'm telling you, I agree with you. We're fighting for high-speed internet access. We're fighting to have better communications online, in your hand, in the newspaper, on the radio. We're with you, and we're doing our absolute best. We have several things that I already outlined tonight that we're doing to make it better. It's not good enough, and we are going to make it better.
How do you, my question is, why wasn't it paper to begin with? You know that this is an existing issue. Why wasn't there general posters put up so that people in the area knew that this was going to be part of the TV program?
Policy. It's policy, exactly. It's policy, Renee, and we are working on revising that policy. Why wasn't it done then? We were told that it was put out. And we were told that it was put out, and we're learning that it was not put out good enough. Like, I'm here tonight again to hear and to explain that we are already addressing these issues. And Tina, look, I'm with you. Nothing ever happens fast enough in government, and Michelle would agree with that too. And we come in, we're just like you. We come in because we want to make it better, and we're doing our best to make it better. It's not going to happen overnight. Mistakes are going to continue to happen, but I wake up every morning and try to do it a little bit better. And I know that these people do too. And I'm sorry it didn't happen right the first time, but by God, we're going to keep working hard to make it better. I promise you that.
Are we going to be a meeting, Victor?
Larry, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question about the communications as well. I don't know if there's anybody in this room more interested than me in having more information on the city's website. But there's a reason, one of the reasons that there's not hardly any information on the city's website is that it requires to be translated before you can post it. And 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, the city tried to recruit someone to do that work. Maybe they've given up on it. But how are you going to address that? Even if you're committed to publishing the stuff, how are you going to address that to get it done?
Good question, and you're right. We're not able to find somebody to fill the position, so we've been outsourcing the work. I'll tell you that at times, I've been told by members of city staff, we can't put that up because it's not bilingual, and I say, well, let's spend the money to put it up. Because the answer is not, don't put it up. And I have been screaming that for years, and many of these new councillors understand that as well. And we will, and also when we put in the live streaming system, it's my understanding that as working documents, some of these can be put up in the working language of the city. So there'll be more access to information right up front. And some of the main projects, they have been, like the downtown revitalization plan, the multiplex project, they've been translated and put up, and we're going to continue to do more of that. My position personally is, let's spend the money and give the public the information. We live in a bilingual city, in a bilingual province, so we're going to do what we have to do and what we should do, but let's spend the money and give people information. That's my answer.
I wanted to just 1 second, there's a gentleman in the back.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
I live down this Shore Road, and they rebuilt Wellington Street, and all that time, all that truck traffic came down the Shore Road. That road has not been upgraded. Right at the hill where you've done the corner, it's a total mess in the winter. It's all ice. And I walk there too, and we have no place to walk or anything. The council also must have taken that into consideration when they approved all this. My second question is, if Wellington's so important, they're going to close the Shore Road when it comes on to Wellington down here by the cemetery? It's the same angle, and the same angle when you go up to the fire station there, when you get the other end. So we're going to go straight left?
We're not sure what your question is. Was the question, are they going to consider closing those streets as well?
If they're going to close it here, then Wellington's more important. It's the same angle going out in Loggieville.
It's a good
Just
question.
a different direction, but it's the same kind of corner. And
keep
when
going
you go to town, it's the same kind of corner.
It's a good question. So I guess we'll direct that to you, Darren.
Yeah, certainly as you know, as we're aware of those issues and as projects in the area come up, we will always look to improve safety. So to answer your question, yeah, we are looking at some of those whys and
The same question that we're
some of them are
asking you
easily
today.
solved, and some of them are, so we do our best to improve safety. Sometimes you're limited in what we can do, but we do our best for safety, yes. And we will address them as they come up.